France has ended its military presence in West Africa, marking an end to what we call neocolonial military grip on the region. On July 17th, France handed its final two military bases in Senegal, that's Camp Gil and Dakar Airfield, to the Senegalese government. This follows the withdrawal from Mali in 2022 and Burkina Faso in 2023, closing a colonial chapter that stretched for over a century. The handover ceremony in Dakar was quiet and peaceful, with high-ranking military officials from both France and Senegal in attendance as the France flag was lowered. Let's watch the video and come back to talk about it.
Ce changement est nécessaire. Nous devons réinventer nos partenariats dans une Afrique dynamique dont la jeunesse porte beaucoup d'espoir. Cela passe par une vraie transformation de notre approche à l'égard des pays africains et de nos partenaires.
Now, the two sites handed over, that Camp Gil and Dakar Airfield, have been critical nodes for France's military logistics in Africa. These bases were part of France's post-colonial security strategy, used to project influence and maintain military access to West Africa and Central Africa since Senegal's independence in 1960. That's over 65 years. In Senegal, used to project influence and maintain military access to West and Central Africa since Senegal's independence in 1960. That means France has been in Senegal for 65 years. That's a long while. And now for the first time in over 120 years, that's colonial era, post-colonial era, France doesn't have a permanent military base in West Africa anymore.
Information and how we engage with African countries and our African partners. We need to act differently. Permanent bases are no longer needed for that.
From here, the French launched colonial invasions, and after independence, the French troops stayed, and this became a hub for military cooperation. This base was the eyes and ears of France over the Eastern Atlantic. France still has soldiers in many of its former colonies, but for Senegal's new young president, who represents...
Now, France was pushed out of Mali in 2022 after tensions escalated between the Malian government and the France government. Mali accused France of interfering with its rulership and not backing them up in fighting against terrorism. They were in the country, but terrorism kept increasing. Insecurity and stability was the order of the day. Then came Burkina Faso in 2023. They gave France a month to leave their borders. And of course they did. They had no choice. And then Niger showed signs of resistance after its coup in July 2023. At first, France wanted to, argue with them. But they left eventually. So the three Sahel states already kicked France out of their country. France and their troops out of their country. This steady decline and the kicking of France out of those countries is not a coincidence. It is as a result of years of rising Pan-African consciousness and resistance to foreign domination. We've gotten to that stage where we do not want them to take charge of our country, of our resources anymore. We want to be in charge. Why are they kicking France out? Why have they gotten tired of France's presence? It's obvious. Across Africa, across the Sahel, they are tired. We are tired of France's hypocrisy and neocolonialism. We are tired of their interference. We are tired of their domination and sovereignty in our own states. Despite their claim of fighting terrorism in the states, terrorism is still on the increase. Of course, we know what they are doing. They're not actually fighting against them. So we are tired. And that's the reason why they were kicked out. Let us be in charge. At least if anything happens, we know we are in charge. We know where to hold ourselves accountable and responsible for the things happening in our country, and not the other way around. So it's not just about military bases on our soil, it's about control, sovereignty, and self-determination. And for many Africans, the fact that France troops were still in African countries, it meant we are still colonized. But now that they've gone, we are taking back what is rightfully ours, bit by bit. Now, France colonized much of West Africa in the late 19th century and early 20th century, establishing French West Africa. a federation of 8 territories, including Senegal, Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, and others. Even after independence in 1960s, France maintained military, political, and economic control in these nations. So the withdrawal of France from these countries signifies true independence and freedom at last. It signifies a break from colonial masters and all their interference. I mean, it's high time. But we would also say this, that the departure of France's troop has left a vacuum. And they can fill this vacuum like Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger. Through coalition, they can come together to work together. What do you have to say about this story? Comments below what your thoughts are, and do not forget to share, like, subscribe, and turn on your notification button. My name is Lynient Akotonou.